This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Time right now is 4:27 here on your Monday morning. Thanks for joining me. I'm Meredith Barrick. We begin this week coming off of another violent weekend here in the Circle City, including a shooting at Lafayette Square Mall. We are still waiting to learn more details about what exactly happened here from IMPD, but police do tell us at least since Friday, at least 6 people were shot across the city in separate incidents. That includes a 4-year-old who was shot by his own father's gun. So we have more details on the violence across the Circle City this morning. We also continue to look at the COVID-19 numbers in the Hoosier State. We have 5 new reported deaths and 393 new cases. The good news is, as you can see there, the total number of positive cases is trending downwards. That is good news as we see many other states across our country now having an uptick in cases. So this is some good news. We expect to be keeping a close eye on these numbers, however, as we did have stage 4 occur this past weekend, the reopening of a number of businesses and restaurants and bars, and then we have stage 5 happening on the 4th of July. So we will continue to keep a close eye on those. In the meantime, though, we want to check in with meteorologist Todd Clausen. Todd, there was some fog this morning on my way to work.
Yeah, a little bit of fog. Some areas saw rain. Some of you yesterday saw a lot of rainfall to the south and east of Indianapolis and downtown. We just had a few light showers make their way through at times. Temperatures this morning are sitting in the 60s, and with the mild air in place and that moisture from the rain, Meredith's exactly right. There is some patchy fog. As I woke up, I could see the condensation on my windows as well in my house. 68 in Bloomington right now, 63 in Kokomo, 68 in Lafayette. There's a few very light lingering showers there on the far eastern side of the state, and that is just about it. Today we're looking at high temperatures back into the mid to upper 80s with partly cloudy skies. It's going to be warm, it's going to be muggy, and just like yesterday, as we get into the afternoon hours, there will be once again the chance of a few spotty storms popping up across the area. Not expecting severe weather, but there'll be some lightning and some heavier downpours. We'll talk more about those storms and the rest of the work week here ahead coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. We look forward to hearing more about this week's weather. And finally, our Rafael Sanchez has a story that this situation couldn't come at a worse time. A construction worker looking to get back to work after the coronavirus pandemic has his van that you see there vandalized, his tools inside stolen. We're going to share his story with you and what he was able to capture on camera. Yeah, this situation happening. That's coming up later this morning right here on Good Morning Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Gunfire at a Northwest Side shopping center sends 1 person to the hospital. Now at 4:30, the latest on the most recent round of gunfire in the Circle City. Plus, new coronavirus cases here in Indiana seem to be dropping. This morning, why it's a much different story in other parts of the country. And a different type of protest taking to the Circle City streets over the weekend. How the Black Lives Matter movement and Pride Month are now working together. At 4:30, though, we want to check in with meteorologist Todd Clausen. Todd, we had some cloud cover yesterday, but the day oh my goodness, it is a Monday. The majority of the day remained fairly nice. What can we expect for our Monday?
It was kind of nice. I went on a bike ride yesterday. It was nice having that overcast sky and not that sun beating down on us as it has been for the past really week and a half, as it's been very dry, Meredith. So you're right. It was nice. A little reprieve from the heat yesterday, and some of you picked up some much needed rainfall across the area. And as far as the rain goes this morning, which you see up north of Lafayette, that's just a little bit of feedback on the radar. But as we slide here towards Richmond and down into the Batesville area, that is where we are dealing with some scattered rain showers that are still remaining. Those are going to be sliding off towards the east. There's a little bit of patchy fog out there as well. Once the sun comes up, we'll burn that fog off, and we'll be left with partly cloudy skies here this morning and hazy sunshine throughout the afternoon hours. But there are more storms off to our west, and some of these will be building in as we get into the afternoon hours. But again, they're going to be very hit or miss this afternoon. So not everybody sees the rainfall here throughout the day today, but everybody does deal with the heat and humidity as high temperatures, Meredith, climb into the upper 80s.
Todd, thank you. We are taking a live look right now at I-70 west of Ronald Reagan Parkway. Only a car or two out there here to start our Monday morning. We'll take a turn now at I-69 at 106th Street. Same situation up there. Not too many people out and about. We'll let you know if there are any issues on the roads. This morning, we're still waiting for details surrounding a shooting at Lafayette Square Mall, injuring one person. Metro Police tell us the shooting happened around 1:45 Sunday afternoon outside the mall's main entrance on the west side of the building. Several cars in the parking lot were also hit with bullets. Officers tell us the person injured was in serious condition when they were taken to the hospital. And this morning, a man faces a charge of child neglect after his 4-year-old son accidentally shot himself. Metro Police say this happened around 7:30 Saturday night at an apartment complex on East 21st Street near Arlington Avenue. Police say the boy shot himself with an unsecured gun inside an apartment. Police say the child was awake and breathing when he was taken to the hospital. This morning, a young girl is fighting for her life after being pulled from a Park County creek. State conservation officers say the incident happened around 1:30 Sunday afternoon on Big Raccoon Creek near the Mansfield Covered Bridge. First responders say the girl was airlifted to a Clay County hospital in critical condition. This comes as last week 7 people drowned in Indiana's waterways. New COVID-19 numbers appear to show some good news for the Hoosier State. The State Department of Health reports 5 new deaths from the coronavirus, along with 393 cases. There's some more good news. The overall number of people being treated in hospitals for COVID-19 is at its lowest point since early April. But it's not all good news across the country. This morning, ABC's Alex Perche has a look at how some states are preparing for an exponential rise in cases this week.
Today, a major milestone. New York City, once the epicenter of the coronavirus pandemic, will enter phase 2 of reopening. Restaurants prepared over the weekend, setting up socially distanced outdoor seating for patrons. But doctors are sounding the alarm elsewhere. At least 11 states set record highs in cases this weekend. Hospitalizations are up in 17. And the former head of the Food and Drug Administration warns that Arizona, Texas, and Florida could see exponential growth this week.
The challenge with exponential growth is everything looks okay until suddenly it doesn't. And so this is something that has to be a concern of everyone that's been watching this.
Florida, one of those states that opened early, has already had more than 3,100 deaths.
I don't feel like people are doing enough of a job of keeping social distancing and keeping masks on their face. People are getting a little bit more tired of wearing these masks, but this is not the time to do that.
More than half of their reported cases this past Saturday were patients under the age of 35. The governor, who first attributed the increase to more testing, now admitting there's more to it.
That's an indication, certainly in that age group, that you're seeing more transmission in the community. It's not purely just a function of the fact that they're testing more.
The White House says it's making preparations for a spike later this year.
We are filling the stockpile in anticipation of a possible problem in the fall.
I saved hundreds of thousands of lives.
But the president, who boasted about his coronavirus leadership during a rally in Tulsa this weekend, is now facing criticism for saying this.
When you do testing to that extent, you're going to find more people, you're going to find more cases. So I said to my people, slow the testing down, please.
The president's allies are defending him, saying that that was just a joke. There are roughly 6,200 people at that rally. Now, Oklahoma health officials are urging anyone who's attended a large gathering in recent weeks to get tested. Alex Perche, ABC News, Washington.
Here at 4:35, the protests continuing almost daily for more than 3 weeks continued over the weekend. One demonstration brought together the Black Lives Matter movement with people observing Pride Month. Saturday's event on Meridian Street focused on violence impacting the Black LGBTQ community. They want to make sure their concerns are heard in the midst of the new nationwide focus on racism.
As we're talking about Black lives, that we're acknowledging and recognize our trans community that has suffered over and over again prior to this year. So I just want to make sure that with the people.
At the event, there was a spot on site for people to register to vote. All of the money raised will benefit Indiana Pride of Color and Indiana Youth Group. Metro Police are investigating a discovery outside the headquarters of the Indiana Black Expo. An image of a cross appears to have been burned into the grass in front of their East Side building. Black Expo staff members say they noticed the burn on the grass outside their headquarters on North Shortridge Road. However, there used to be a cross on the ground outside of the building when it belonged to Crossroads Bible College. Indiana Black Expo acknowledged in their statement, though the group claims the cross had been filled with topsoil and grass seed. RTV6 received a statement from IMPD saying they were unable to make contact with anyone from Indiana Black Expo until Saturday. Police say they are aware of the previous cross, but that to err on the side of caution, a report was completed. Investigators will be reviewing any available area video, and extra patrols have been ordered to the area. RTV6 is getting answers for concerned neighbors after police say a driver accused of street racing caused a deadly crash. It happened last month on 38th Street near Washington in the Meridian Kessler neighborhood. Witnesses report seeing cars weaving in and out of traffic. Police say one of the drivers lost control and smashed into a car, killing a 35-year-old man. Amy McMullen heard the crash happen, and she says dangerous driving is common in the neighborhood.
When that accident happened, you could feel it. Like the skidding of the car was like nothing. I've heard cars skid before, but that was really something. It happens more than, it's not the first time. It's my own children that are on the roads. How do you know you're not next?
We took these concerns to IMPD. Representatives tell us people can file complaints online at indy.gov. Sometimes police will add extra patrols based on the complaints they receive and have officers who work that beat focus on specific areas. Same-sex couples celebrated earlier this year when they were allowed to be on child birth records. After the break, why the state is asking the Supreme Court to take another look at that ruling. Plus, kids have been spending a lot of time at home during the coronavirus outbreak. Up next, why doctors say that's bringing new types of injuries into the emergency room. Todd.
And Meredith, we're dealing with a little bit of patchy fog here across parts of the area this morning. And one of those areas is in downtown Indianapolis. As you can see on our Weather Now camera network, a little bit of lower level clouds moving through as you look to the north. This fog, though, it will burn off. It's another warm and muggy day that is heading our way. We'll talk all about it coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now is 4:38. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on RTV6.
Weekdays from 4:30 to 7.
We are following breaking news out of Charlotte, North Carolina this morning. Police there investigating a deadly shooting. Although details remain few, we do know 9 people were shot, 2 have died, 7 others were injured. An additional 5 other people were hurt when they were hit by a car while running from the scene. What led up to the gunfire is still being investigated. We will pass along more information as soon as we learn it. This morning, the state attorney general's office is asking the Supreme Court to review a ruling challenging the state's birth records law. In January, the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled same-sex couples should have the same rights as other couples to be named as parents on birth certificates. Currently, same-sex couples in Indiana have to go through the adoption process. The state's petition says the lower courts misinterpreted the intent of the law surrounding paternity and parental rights. State lawmakers are taking action in response to a Call 6 investigation. Since mid-April, Call 6 Investigates has been fighting to find out where the COVID-19 outbreaks happened in nursing homes and where people have died at long-term care facilities. Now a group of lawmakers is joining the battle. Senators Gene Breaux, Eddie Melton, and Frank Mervyn wrote a letter to the governor calling on the state to collect and make data public. They credited our reporting for having an impact.
For you to have taken this up in your articles and continuing articles, I think it's excellent. It's wonderful. And it certainly then helps me when I send letters out because I know that I'm not the only one doing it and that there are others coming from different places besides just me.
The governor has not responded to the letter. We also reached out to Republican members of the House and Senate health committees and are still waiting to hear back. An Indianapolis church is helping young people learn a new skill that will feed neighbors in need. Martindale Church and a Carmel family are teaming up to teach members of the youth group to start a community garden. Fresh tomatoes, peppers, cilantro, and more will soon start to sprout up in a field next to the church on 24th and Dr. Andrew J. Brown Avenue. The vegetables and herbs will supplement the church's meal distribution program. The pastor says the garden will benefit the community in other ways, too.
We want to provide a means of showing the people there's value here, as well as give our youth the opportunity to do something besides watch Netflix and play video games, to actually learn something that's going to benefit them for a lifetime and generations to come.
The church works with Second Helpings to provide meals several times a week. And Todd, people can get out in their garden or maybe do a little yard work today because we aren't going to get storms until this evening.
Yeah, you know, they're just going to be spotty once again here, Meredith, across the area. So when you hear about storms in the forecast today, don't think of it as an all-day event for us, but it's primarily the afternoon. I could use a little rain on my lawn. I didn't get much yesterday with those showers and storms that went through, but those showers and storms as they went through also brought the chance of some patchy fog here this morning with the moisture that is left over in the atmosphere combined with the temperatures this morning, creating visibilities down to a quarter mile in Indianapolis. In fact, the visibilities are the lowest in the metro area compared to the rest of central Indiana. So just be aware of that if you do have to get on the roadways this morning. And here's the view from downtown to the north, and you can see those lower clouds kind of streaming across the skyline there as you look off to the north. But you see it's a pretty thin layer of fog, so once the sun does come up, we'll be able to burn that cloud cover off very, very quickly here this morning. Temperatures currently sitting in the 60s anywhere you go. 64 in Indy, as well as Martinsville. 68 in Bloomington. Muncie at 65 degrees as we work our way throughout the day today. Partly cloudy skies already up into the low 80s by the noon hour, with high temperatures this afternoon topping off right around 89 degrees, and then we'll build in the chance of those storms later on this afternoon. There's a few lingering showers still on the far eastern side of the state as you work your way from Winchester over towards the Richmond area. Otherwise, skies are partly cloudy. And back off to the west, we are dealing with some storms there as well. And that's kind of the final hurrah as far as the storms go and the front that needs to make its way through central Indiana. So as we go over to TrueCast, you'll see throughout the majority of the day we are going to be dry as we get into the afternoon hours. We'll start to build in just the chance of a few spotty storms. Carry on with any of your outdoor plans. The rain threat is not great enough for you to cancel plans, but just know, especially in northern locations, that there will be some storms building in throughout the afternoon hours. But then it's really this evening and overnight that we all have the best chance of some showers and storms making their way through the area. Not expecting any severe weather, but there could be a few heavier downpours as this front goes through. Some showers linger into tomorrow morning before we start to clear out. Tomorrow's a cooler day on the backside of that cold front with high temperatures that'll be right around 80 degrees. The clouds should thin out as the day goes on tomorrow, and that is going to set us up for a beautiful Wednesday and Thursday with mostly sunny skies. 79 on Wednesday should be a terrific day. Great on Thursday as well. Mostly sunny, a high of 83 before the heat and the chance of storms, Meredith, builds back in heading into the weekend.
Todd, thank you. We're taking a live look right now at I-465 at Emerson Avenue. As you can see, there are some emergency vehicles out there. That is because there is a crash. The right two lanes are currently closed, and INDOT says they expect them to be closed for the next 90 minutes. As you can see, it is awfully foggy out there in that area, so just be cautious if you are headed that direction. All this extra time kids are spending at home has emergency room doctors seeing new trends in childhood injuries. Trampolines, bikes, and scooters all became hot items when stay-at-home orders started. In a recent New York Times article, doctors say they're seeing spikes in injuries from all of these activities, but especially trampolines. They're also seeing patients with more unusual emergencies like accidental poisonings. But overall, without organized sports and school activities, doctors say child visits to the ER are actually down. And you'll want to check your medicine cabinet this morning, especially if you have young children at home. Two popular children's cough medicines, Robitussin and Dimetapp, are voluntarily being recalled. The specific products are children's Robitussin honey cough and chest congestion DM, and children's Dimetapp cold and cough. The manufacturer says the recall is due to potential overdose risks. The products were sold between February and the beginning of June. If you bought the medicine, visit FDA.gov to check and see if it is included in the safety recall. Schools and students have had to get creative to make graduation ceremonies special this year. And this morning, one Pennsylvania student has taken things to a whole nother level. Everin Kenny will be a junior next year, but he felt bad for his friends at Chambersburg Magnet School who weren't having a graduation ceremony. So he worked with 9 friends to painstakingly recreate their stadium into the online game Minecraft. USA Today reports they spent weeks coding and crafting and they've got the nearly perfect stadium now. They plan to host a virtual ceremony this week. Students can participate either as characters in the game or through watching a live feed. Very creative. Each year, race fans across the state and country look forward to cars hitting the dirt track for Indiana Midget Week. After the break, our Dave First shows us why fans say this year was no different, even with the coronavirus.
Unable to return to work, his vehicle vandalized, his tools stolen, and why he holds these people responsible. I'm Rafael Sanchez. That story coming up on RTV6.
And tonight, our partners at Court TV will take a deep dive into the criminal justice system's history and relationship with African Americans. Black and Blue, a Court TV special, will air at 8 p.m. The special will discuss how past segregation era thinking may have given way to controversial present-day laws like the Stand Your Ground concept. It'll also take a look at high-profile cases including Ahmaud Arbery, Michael Dreshka, and George Floyd, Eric Gardner, and Trayvon Martin. You can watch Black and Blue, a Court TV special on CourtTV.com, as well as on our sub-channels Grit and Laugh, which are channels 6.6 and 6.3 over the air. We'll be right back.
Guaranteed relief for extremely dry, cracked feet.
USAC's Midget Week in Indiana is officially in the books. It's one of the most prestigious events on the calendar. As our Dave First reports, turns out fans bought up every ticket during this return to racing.
All right, you got tickets, Andy?
The parking lots filled up quickly. Activity in the Midway, t-shirt sales are brisk, and fans are heading to their seats. And in Indiana, it begins with racing. I'm going to guess it's nice to get out of the house.
Yeah, this is the first time we've got out all year.
Families from Muncie, Munster, and Mooresville as USAC burns up gas in Gas City. The Vermillions are in from Greencastle and have sons who also race. You guys are involved in the sport. You know how important it is to open up.
Without the fans and being able to do this, I don't know what we'd do.
To the tune of 50% capacity, physical distancing, but wrapped around half the track. The drivers all see it. I don't know if you noticed, the parking lot is packed.
It is packed. It's awesome to just have fans. It's still a limited number, but we get to have fans.
It's almost hard to imagine USAC Midget Week without them. And one of the reasons NASCAR driver Ricky Stenhouse has been wanting to return for some 13 years.
Yeah, I grew up, going to the racetrack, watching my dad, and then, growing up through the ranks, racing with, a lot of these same people, and it's just fun to come back and do.
It thrills the senses. 900-pound race cars pushed around by 400-horsepower engines. A recipe for just about anything. But the drivers get back in. And now the fans do too.
Probably the biggest thrill you can get, There's a lot of slide jobs just about every corner if the track, allows it.
You can feel the people and understand kind of the social distancing aspect, but still be casual and be normal.
A little normalcy in a very abnormal world. From thrills to $3 beers, from dirt to dust. And it's all about time.
Racing is, the heart, I think, of this state. Whether some people want to think it or not, I think racing is the backbone of our state as we know it.
Just listen to that sound. Fans have been coming here for years to hear it, and they will throughout the course of the weekend as well. Hey, the reasons for the shutdown were many, but the reasons for fans and drivers to get back together this summer, they are too. The Gas City, Dave First, RTV6 Sports.
All right, thank you, Dave. Looks like fun up there in Gas City. Always good to see the race cars back on the track. All right, temperatures today are going to be climbing up into the mid-80s. The chance of a few spotty storms this afternoon, but better rain chances overnight tonight into early Tuesday morning. But once the front goes through on Tuesday, a beautiful stretch of weather for the middle half of the week with lots of sunshine and cooler temperatures. The time now is 4:57. We're back in just a couple minutes. We'll see you at the top of the hour.